We have a lot of clients who totally get it. I think who are thinking about this more in terms of content marketing now. I think social has kind of not become the only way to describe kind of what's going on here. I think they think in terms of content marketing, and they're very keen to understand what drives performance, follow metrics, which are all about user engagement and, God willing, some sort of action step that we're asking people to do. So, I think they are pretty sophisticated. I mean, Ford is a good example. They totally get this. We're building a full global content studio for them right now, which is essentially a kind of operationalized way to use content marketing across not just social channels, but earned channels and paid channels and all of their Marcom, and that reflects a certain amount of sophistication after having kind of been in the trenches for the past few years doing stuff in social.
I've got a question from Kaz, who's just left it on sort of the event. I'm just going to read what he's asked. He says, John, because images on Facebook tend to be more engaging, do you guys think, from a network's point of view, that there's competition and conflict between visual media on social and monetizing social ad space?
No. Sorry, I had to kind of think about I had to kind of guess what the person is, what they're fishing for. I mean, is there competition because of the obvious kind of higher level of engagement with imagery? Is there competition between I guess the earned or shared space with paid media? No, I mean we're big believers in integrated social media marketing, which means planning and practicing using paid, owned, and earned channels together, and so paid as an amplifier, putting content down through the paid channel, whether it be a Facebook, sponsored story, or I don't know, some sort of display advertising, where we're actually now putting content down, not kind of traditional advertising of sorts, only helps us expand the reach, relevant reach of programs we're doing. So I don't see any conflict whatsoever.
I think he's asking, about whether or not the online audience is representative.
Yeah, I think that's what I brought up before, and I'll let Matt speak about this as well. I do think that it really depends upon the marketplace. The U.S. or the U.K. or Australia is one thing. I think South Africa is another thing. India is another thing. So it's very hard to generalize, especially when you're talking around the world. But in a kind of a big social media mature marketplace where there's a lot of connectivity, a lot of participation in social networks, I think we have to be careful that the lessons that we're learning from the people who are responding online may not be reflective of our complete customer base. Now, it doesn't mean that they're meaningless, and so that's what I was trying to say before. I think the feedback we get from those folks can be hugely helpful. I mean, there's a huge difference, I know, for those folks who are deep thinkers in research between quantitative and qualitative, and we have to be clear about what lessons we're taking away. But I think it's still hugely helpful, even though, yes, it's true they may not be representative of a complete customer base. I don't know, Matt, do you feel differently about that?
No, I completely agree. I think the types of projects where it does become more useful are when we're asked to interrogate loyalist groups, people who are sort of particular advocates of a certain brand or product. So we've recently done a project for a certain car brand, and the type of car brand it is, that there are a very sort of core set of loyalists. So for that project, yes, it was highly relevant that we could use their sort of social media space to ask other questions. But it is a challenge for us, and as I said earlier, more often than not, the recruitment spec is just too specific for us to sort of propose carrying out that research in that open way. So again, we're learning. We are not experts in social media, so we're learning how to sort of navigate through that problem, and that is one of the big problems for us. Versus using sort of online platforms like yourselves, and also the idea that we would over time build our own community.